Alright, I'm going to do a roast in the oven, and I'm going to do it with onions and carrots and potatoes. Now, it's going to have to be 2 parts and then 3 if you want to see it when it's done. So, a lot of y'all ain't going to like this right off the bat because it's messy, alright? First of all, I just rough chopped an onion and threw it in the middle of my big old roaster. Whatever you got. If you ain't got a big old roaster, cut your roast into pieces that you can fit in the size of your biggest pan you got. You got to have room for your taters and onions and your broth. You want to make sure you got some liquid in there because this is going to cook a long time. My oven's at 400. I'm going to cook it at 400 for 2 hours. And then I'm going to turn it down. And then in about a half hour, once it calms itself down, I'm going to add my potatoes and more onions because I put 1 onion in. I'm going to save 1 onion to add later so it can be not so much in the juices. A lot of the juices have cooked away, so all the potatoes and onions and carrots will get like a caramelization on them, and your juice in there, it's going to be thick like a gravy. So it's messy. I got me a bag, about 1.5 cups worth of flour here. First thing I'm going to do though, I'm going to stab the shit out of this roast. I'm going to make holes all in it. And I'm going to take the minced garlic, because I used to use whole garlic. And, you know, take and stick the cloves down into all the different holes. And, you know, with my arm and all being the way it is, I just find the easiest ways I can do things. Alright, so I stabbed the shit out of it. I got me a piece of wax paper laying here. Get it, stay, I'm going to flip it over. Stab the shit out of the other side. Just make holes in it. I just want that garlic to get down into it. That's what I'm trying to do. Alright, so I'm using already minced garlic. I'm going to take, I keep a spoon in here. And I'm going to take like 2 big old heaping teaspoons of that garlic. And I'm just going to smush it down in all them holes. And I know it looks crazy. I know it looks crazy, y'all. I'm perfectly aware that it looks crazy. But trust me, my roast will melt in your mouth. I make a damn good roast. Especially once you, because I cheat, and when I put my vegetables in there, I take and I roll them in some oil, and I put a little bit of sugar on them, because I want them to caramelize. And not a lot. I ain't talking about a whole bunch. For all them onions and taters, I might put like a teaspoon of sugar. It's just enough to coat them. That's going to help pull them sugars out. It's going to help caramelize them. Oh, shoot, my paper ripped. Hang on. Did you use wax paper? You're not supposed to. Now I got to piece you together to flip you over. There we go. I don't want it touching my stove. So, since I'm touching this spoon now with my beefy hands, now that I'm putting my other 2 heaping teaspoons, I got to get rid of this because I touched it with my somewhat beefy, bloodied hands. So I'm just squishing it where I know the holes are at. I'll squish it in there, but really just a lot of pressure all over will get it in there pretty doggone good. Now I'm going to salt and pepper this real good. Alright, because I ain't worried about the salt pulling the liquid, because if you wanted to put a good sear on your meat, you really don't want to put a lot of salt. Like if you're making fajitas and you're putting a bunch of strips of beef in a pan, don't be putting salt on it, because that's going to suck the fluids out of it, and you're going to have all that water, and you're going to be like boiling, steaming your meat instead of searing it. So that's why a lot of people have trouble with beef tips and all, because they salt it and it sucks all the water out, and they got a mess. Alright, I got to sit this phone down because I need to get this glove off, because I ain't touching. Alright, this glove has not been contaminated, so I can salt and pepper. So that's all I'm going to do, is salt and pepper the hell out of this. Basically, I'm going to salt and pepper. I'm going to lean this. Just going to give this a real good salting. And I do use sea salt. You can use your Himalaya salt, your Redmonds, or whatever it is that you use. It don't matter. Whatever. And I'm going to put this in the flour after this. And then I'm going to throw it in a pan and brown it. And some, you know, you don't have to. People talk about searing it, not searing it. Some people just put it in a real hot oven, and then they will sear it. I'm going to grab this glove to flip this meat over to season the other side so I don't contaminate this glove, because I need it. I need it for my seasoning. I don't want to contaminate. That's the thing about cooking is just, you know, that's why I use gloves, and I know it creates waste, but I swear, I wash my hands so much it's amazing my skin don't fall off, y'all. If this damn phone stops on me before I get through at least this part, I'm going to be so pissed. Alright, so here we go. No choice but the hand is getting dirty now. So let me get rid of this piece of paper and that dirty glove. Let me get them in the garbage out the way. And I'm going to move my big roaster. It's too heavy. See my right arm? I got no strength. I need to use both hands. So, I would use avocado oil, but my bottle's empty. I don't want to open the new bottle because I don't want to fight with it. So I'm not going to. I'm going to use olive oil. I'm going to put it on high for right now. I'm going to seal this up and just get this flour real good. Now you can lay this on a plate or on your wax paper or whatever you want to get your flour on it. I just find this easier for me not to make a big giant mess of flour on me and on the floor. And I must have poked a hole in it because I'm getting a little bit of flour on my counter, but not nothing like I would if I was doing this on a plate. So I think that's pretty good. We're just going to wait for this grease to get hot now. Make sure I got a goodly amount of grease in there because that flour is going to soak it up. And you don't want it to stick because then your flour that you want on your meat, because as it cooks, that flour is going to create kind of like a gravy in your pan. That's what's going to happen with that. That's why a lot of people flour their pieces of meat when they make a stew, is because it thickens it. I'm just checking the heat. I didn't even watch my videos. I didn't even check them to make sure of what I said or didn't say. So far, what we've done is I just rough chopped an onion and just laid it in the bottom of this pan here. It wouldn't hurt to put a little bit of oil in there, honestly, just to make sure I don't get no sticking. So I don't know how much that was. If I had to guess, I'm going to just toss these around. I'm going to reckon that was probably, if I had to guess, it might have been like 1/8 of a cup of oil, just enough to coat that bottom. And I'm rubbing it around since this hand is going to be trashed anyway in a minute. Because I'm going to snatch that roast out of there if that grease gets hot. So let me get me a paper towel. Alright. It feels like it's hot enough. I don't want just to sit in the grease. I want to get a sizzle. So let me throw a little bit of flour in there. Okay. You can always take a little flour and throw it in there and look and see. See, it ain't really give me a good sizzle. It ain't made no noise. It is cooking though. My stove is uneven. I thought it was my pans for years, and I found out on a video there's legs on the bottom of your stove that you can adjust to make your stove. I thought the pan bottom was crooked and been propping up the handle of my pan for years with like a spice bottle. Like I'll take this and put it up under there to get my pan to sit straight. I told Mike, honey, you need to pull this stove out, but I ain't pressed the issue since it's had all these troubles physically. So let's just lay this in there. You hear it? You need to hear that sizzle. You don't want to lay it up in that grease just to soak up grease. I have to wash. And I can lose the glove now. Yeah, fingernails suck when you cook a lot. And I got a flour on my sleeve. Somehow I managed to get flour on my sleeve. Alright, I just want this to get brown. That's a big old piece of meat. So I'm going to tag team it. I ain't going to try to just pick it up with this because it's going to flop around like a fish. So I'm going to get me a fork and this to work together. I'm going to turn this down. It was still up on high. I'm going to take a peek at it. We'll take a peek together. Alright. I can see it's brown. I also thought it was trying to stick, so I'm going to turn it. I'm going to tag team this bigger. I'm going to grab a hold of it and stab it to get this thing to turn. And yeah, you're going to lose some of your flour. It's going to inevitably, some of it's going to stick to the bottom of the pan, and that's alright. I'll show what I mean. See, I got me a bare spot. It's alright. It's okay. It's no problem. I'm going to turn it back up a little bit. Because at this point, I just want to get it brown. Now, you can be anal and turn it on its sides and try to get all the sides brown. No, that ship has sailed for me. Lifting is an issue. I used to would have stood it on its sides and got every side brown. Not no more. I sloshed the grease up on the sides of it. That's about all I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the heat off now. The oven's already at 400. It ain't going to take but a minute to get this brown because that pan was good and hot. So I'm going to take a peek. Not yet. Not yet. And I lost my little my pan holder. Can you believe that? Do any of y'all have that? When you think that your pan is off? No. There's little legs on the bottom of your stove that you can twist to get higher and lower. Your pan ain't uneven. Your stove is. And I can't fuss at him to do it now. He worries me doing all the stuff he is doing. But he did. Alright, I'm happy with this. I'm sorry I couldn't take y'all with me for that, but yeah. I'm going to take that piece of skin that stuck to the pan. I'm going to get it off of there. I'm going to put that in my pan. I'm going to put it on top of the bare spot. I'm going to take some of this oil and just put it on the top. Not all of it. A goodly bit of it. Damn near all. Actually, I am putting all of it in there. Alright, I dumped all that oil in there. I don't have that much to begin with. Let me put some water in this pan so it don't... so it don't stick real bad. All we're going to do now is pick up this big pan. Oh, no, that's not true. I need to put some stock in there because we're going to braise it. And I know braising is usually done at a much lower temperature. My cupboards are so full I had to put things in strange and unusual spots because I made sure I stocked my pantries really heavily before the prices go up any damn more. See if I can do this without burning my belly. I'm going to use these to grab it because I can't reach. Please be beef so I don't have to wipe it down. It is. Ah! It fell. Ah! I got it. So, I have not made my stock, not with me being hurt, because I got to pick up them big old pots and strain them through the cheesecloth, and then you got to refrigerate them, and you got to take them back out, and it's a lot of work, but homemade stock is good, so I'm going to use almost this whole box. And this is beef stock. So what I'm doing is basically just creating some moisture in here because it's on a high temperature. And you know what? I'm going to use the whole box because it's a big-ass roast. That's a big-ass roast, ain't it? Alright, so I'm not going to cover it. No, I'm not. I'm not going to cover it. I will end up having to add more water later, probably. It's 5 o'clock now. So, at 7, I'm going to pull that out, and I will have cut my potatoes and another onion and washed, the carrots, have washed everything. rolled it in some oil with a little bit of sugar and salt and pepper, and I'm going to put it around there. And based on how much fluid I got in there then, I may add some more, I may not. But we'll be back when we get to that stage. But for right now, we're going to put this in a 400 oven. I think I'll do an hour and a half. So that'll give me eating dinner at about 7. So an hour and a half on 400. Then I'm going to turn it down to 350 and cook the potatoes and stuff in there for an hour and a half with the meat, and then supper will be done. I might make some cornbread. Oh, my oven is full. I could use that one. We don't really need cornbread, no way, but I could. But we don't need cornbread. It ain't like beef stew. Alright, I'm going to lift this and put it in the oven, which takes both hands, and it's going to hurt. So I'll see y'all in the next step when I'm adding the vegetables, and we'll see if we have to add any water. Bye.